The American Corvette. Front engine overhead valve V8, steel frame, fiberglass body, independent suspension, 4-speed synchromesh transmission. The German Porsche Targa. Rear engine overhead cam flat 6, steel monocoque construction, independent suspension, 5-speed synchromesh transmission. The English Jaguar XKE. Front engine overhead cam V12, steel monocoque construction, independent suspension, 4-speed synchromesh transmission. The Italian Ferrari Dino. Mid-engine 4-cam V6, tubular steel frame construction, independent suspension, 5-speed transmission. Corvette, Porsche, Jaguar, Ferrari, among the finest GT cars in the world, priced up to $15,000. They are designed for a special breed of driver for whom such names are magic. It is for this driver that Lincoln Mercury brings you the magic of Pantera. Bob Bondurant is a professional driver. At his performance driving school in Ontario, California, he is conducting a seminar for Lincoln Mercury dealers and Pantera salesmen.
Good morning, gentlemen. Okay, our main purpose here this morning is to demonstrate how the Pantera handles under hard driving conditions. But first, I'd like to touch on some of the highlights that make this car one of the world's best performing GT cars. To begin with, the car is of monocoque construction. This means that a number of steel body and chassis components are welded together to form a single shell that is light in weight but very strong. Many of the best performing cars in the world use monocoque construction. Suspension, brakes, and steering are of course critical to the overall performance of a true GT car. Pantera has all-independent suspension, which means that the rear wheels as well as the front wheels have greater freedom of movement than with the conventional system. Most cars have a beam-type rear axle, which limits the movement of the rear wheels. Independent suspension absorbs road shock better and is particularly important in hard cornering. As you would expect in a sports car, Pantera has rack and pinion steering for quicker steering response and precision to match its excellent handling characteristics. In this system, the forward end of the steering column is connected to the steering gear pinion. The pinion meshes with a rack which runs across the chassis in front of the front wheel hub. Pantera has 4-wheel disc brakes. As you know, disc brakes have some advantages over drum brakes. They run cooler, have more resistance to fade, and are generally more predictable. The most important feature of the Pantera is its engine placement. We call it a mid-engine car because the engine is within the wheelbase. In a rear-engine car like the Porsche, the engine is behind the rear axle. By placing it ahead of the axle, but behind the driver, you achieve far better weight distribution. Because of this engine location, the vehicle is better balanced under dynamic driving conditions, resulting in superior cornering and braking characteristics. In conventional front-engine cars, power is transferred from the engine through a transmission, drive shaft, differential, and axles. The Pantera transaxle, in effect, combines the transmission and differential into a single unit, eliminating the drive shaft and placing the power source closer to the driving wheels. This reduces drive shaft vibrations, generally a potential problem on high-performance vehicles. That mid-engine itself is, of course, the Ford 351 V8. It's been proven out in hundreds of thousands of passenger cars and is a good choice for this car. It has excellent performance characteristics. It's reliable, and you can get parts for it at more than 6,000 Lincoln Mercury and Ford dealerships. The 351 also has excellent torque characteristics at low engine speeds, which means you don't have to be constantly shifting in traffic. And speaking of gears, you have 5 forward speeds with this ZF transaxle. 4th and 5th ratios are overdrive, enabling cruising at high speed with lower engine RPM for longer engine life. Finally, the mid-engine allows for significantly better aerodynamic characteristics. You can see how the sloping front end and lower profile offer very little wind resistance. Well, that sort of wraps up the nuts and bolts of it, gentlemen. The Pantera is a very special breed. It's designed and built by people who love GT cars and are proud to be associated with a thoroughbred. When you're in the company of names like Ferrari, Maserati, and Lamborghini, you have to measure up. Okay, gentlemen, thank you. It's time to start your engines, and if you'll break up into groups with my instructors here, we'll try a few laps on the handling course.
Many people have asked me, what is it like to drive a Pantera? It does handle exceptionally well, both on the highway and in parking.
You get an awful lot of people looking and staring. It's pure machinery is what it is. Of course, it'll do anything you want and keep on doing it.
I feel very safe in the car, and I feel very, I just feel at one with the car, as if the car is part of me.
The car almost becomes part of yourself. It just handles somewhat like flying. Does the things you want to, so you enjoy it, relax.
You have the beauty and the styling, the power, the handling, and just simplicity in taking care of the car. It's just pure enjoyment for me. I enjoy the sound of the engine. I enjoy the way it feels.
The magic of Pantera, imported for Lincoln Mercury.